Gotcha this time. Excuse me a minute. Ah, that is better. Well, welcome back. 'Tis I, Count Dracula. And today, I've got a special treat for you. Now, normally, multi-voice reviewer and I, we don't usually review girly things, but since multi-voice reviewer and I were watching the movies and the webisodes, we figured what the heck. In this one involving monster girls. No, not Monster Musami. Multi-voice reviewer already reviewed this one. This one is intended for kids. This one here is intended for grown-ups. These monster girls are intended for kids, and also girly kids at that. I'm talking about Monster High. Now that is better. You see, Monster High has been around for a long, long time. And of course you will have the main characters. You have Frankenstein. You have my daughter, Dracula. Nell Denial, and her boyfriend, Dushgoon, and Claudine, the werewolf, and of course, Laguna, the creature of Black Lagoon. These are the main characters in the whole franchise. And how did it all started? Well, you see, Mattel wants to create a new kind of doll. And it was all thanks to Nightmare Before Christmas. It is a good movie, I tell you that. And for those of you who haven't seen, and as you can see, I got the Blu-ray version of Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a lot better than the DVD we have. And for those of you who haven't seen the review of Nightmare Before Christmas, you should go down below and check out Multi-Voice Reviewer's review of Nightmare Before Christmas, Thanksgiving ago. But, anyway, it was Nightmare Before Christmas that it became a huge phenomenon. And there were like tons of merchandise. But it didn't focus on the boys, it focused on the girls. Too bad Jack Skellington's not here. But anyway, since they noticed that most of the and since the guy who is responsible for the merchandise of Nightmare Before Christmas, they decided to make some merchandise that are geared towards the girls and the boys. A lot of people used to thought all the gothic monster stuff were for the boys, but now they got interested for the girls. So the Mattel company made their first movie. And they made, in 2010, Monster High the movie, The New Ghoul at School. And this is Frankenstein, the Frankenstein monster, who is the main character in the movie and throughout the entire show. And she is 13 days old. Cause she was just born. And if you want to know who's this girl over there, well, that is Gulia. Gulia yelps. And she is a zombie. But unlike other zombies, she's a brainiac. I never met a zombie who's very, very smart. Most of the zombies I met, they're dumb. And the lower class of the monster society. But I guess beggars can't be choosers. Even though I can. Anyway. And I had to say, the Monster High series has a lot more puns than the Crypt Keeper has.
I beg your pardon? Hello, Creeps. It's your pal, the Crypt Keeper. One of the coolest ghouls around here. So, you're telling me that Monster High have a lot more puns than I do?
Crypt Keeper, what are you doing here? And yes, Monster High has a lot more puns than the Crypt Keeper. And the only reason why you're so peeved off about Monster High is that skit over Robot Chicken. Seriously, check it out. Crypt Keeper versus Monster High. Even though the jokes are inappropriate, but you get what they're saying.
Ah, yes, it's true. A lot of people got so sick and tired of my ghoulish puns. But at least I meet M. Night Shyamalan to do a brand new Tales from the Crypt. So I'm just hanging around until my show finally be on stage. So I'm making myself look good. So, this is my only cameo I can make here. So, see you later, boys and ghouls.
I really don't like this ghoul. Anyway. Now, the new girl at school got so popular that they have decided to make a webisodes. And here is the webisodes of the entire series of Monster High. It only lasted for like 6 seasons. Started back in 2010 and they ended in 2015. And of course, Gulia, she fell in love with a zombie jock named Sloman Muchavis, also known as Slow-Mo. Every name has puns. And of course, and if you want to know who's in charge of Monster High, well, it's a Dollyhan. You know, the Headless Horseman. Except it's a woman and her name is Headless Headmistress Bloodgood. And that is her name. And she's in charge of Monster High. But of course, the series introduced tons of monster girls and less of the boys. And here are all the monsters. That there is Slow-Mo, Gulia's boyfriend. And as you can see here, there's a lot of love interest for all the characters. Like, for instance, there is this fire elemental right here who goes by the name of Heath Burns, who fell in love with the abominable snow girl who goes by the name of Abby Abominable. Every name represents what kind of monster they are, you know? And of course, this is the headless headmistress. And of course, there are tons of different characters, like Dracula, my daughter. She fell in love with this werewolf girl who is Claudine's sister, named Claude. And of course, Frankenstein, our main character, she fell in love with a nerdy guy who goes by the name of Jackson Jekyll, but when he gets overexcited and listens to music, he becomes Halt Hyde there. Not a bad romance between a Jekyll and Hyde character and a Frankenstein monster. Oh, and about my daughter who's dating a werewolf, I would have been against the werewolves, but this is a new millennium. It's time to open up our species. Doesn't matter what. And speaking about open up and become friendly and emotional, it looks like Blue Lagoon, creature of Black Lagoon here, she fell in love with Gil Weber. But of course they have their Romeo and Juliet romance because they think that river monsters should not be with ocean monsters like Laguna is. They thought that the river monsters and ocean monsters cannot mix. H.P. Lovecraft monsters mix with everyone, so it doesn't matter what water you're from. You know, the one time I dated a Lovecraftian girl, and let's just say that nightmares kept flooding my mind. And especially my girlfriend, she was just so... Every time I tried to kiss her, her tentacles kept covering my face. I didn't like it. This is why I don't get involved with Lovecraftian monsters. Now, of course, there are some other monsters that doesn't show in this picture, but there is a Minotaur who goes by the name of Manitor, and he's in love with a Cyclops girl who goes by the name of Iris Clops. Now, Manitor, he has a temper, he's kind of the bully type. Get it? Manitor, bully. Bull. And a Cyclops, she's the kind-hearted, free-spirited type who pretty much keep him tamed. And of course, they also have those from foreign countries. They have foreign exchange students, too. Like this girl over here, she is a dragon from China. And who goes by the name of Jennifer Long. Now, one thing I do know in Mandarin, Long is Chinese for dragon. And for this girl, she is her name is Scolia Calaveras. And she's from Mexico, and she's supposed to be one of those Diles de los Muertos kind of skeletons. You know, the Mexican holiday called the Day of the Dead. She's one of them. And of course, there is a Phantom of the Opera character here. Except she's a country girl who plays country music, and her instrument of choice is a banjo. And her name... and there she is. Her name... It's Opratella. Her name is Opratella. And of course, one thing about the main girls, you know, these main girls here, they have a rival. And their rival She is a rare cat. And she always keep raining on their parade. And that's her. Right here. Her name is Totally Stripe. Now, she always keep getting them on their bad side, always keep ruin everything they try to be successful of, like being a part of the fear-leating squad. Get it? Fear-leating. But in the later issue, she starts becoming more friendly along in the movies, but she always keep ruining them half the time. And of course, here's a very interesting character. This girl over here. Now, she is a steampunk robot. And her name is Rebecca Steam. Created by a steampunk scientist. And she's also becomes the key to Frankie's origin in one of the movies I'm going to talk to you today. Even though the series only lasted for like 2015, the franchise still kept going. Actually, I had to correct myself. Even though the series ended in 2015, but in 2011, Universal made a deal with Monster High to make these 3D animated movies. And they made like 12 of them. You know, it's a good idea for Universal to own the right of Monster High. I mean, since I heard that Universal was trying to do remakes of the Universal monsters, well, let's just say, after watching Dracula Untold, it failed me, because it was so cliche. And of course, don't get me started in The Mummy with Tom Cruise. Ugh. It was a huge middle finger to the Universal Monsters. I guess Universal Monsters are not ready to be remade. And they're trying to make like the Avengers kind of thing, where they make all the Universal Monsters and make them all cross over. But sadly, it was a failure. Anyway, there's even a green witch who's a pop star. She goes by the name of Casta Ferris. Anyway, in these monsters, in 2011 they made Fright On, and then Why Does Ghouls Fall in Love? Escape from Skull Shores, Ghoul's Wool, Friday Night Fright, Scary City of Fright, Three Wishes, Fright Camera Action, Freaky Fashion, Haunted, Booyawk Booyawk, and Great Scary Reef. On Scary Reef, the girls turn into mermaids. Well, sea creatures to be precise. And one thing about Haunted, the daughter of my good friend Mr. Death is in this one, the Haunted version. So you pretty much would find Mr. Death's daughter in it. And she goes by the name of River Styx. Isn't that right, Mr. Death?
Yes, Dracula, that is true. My dearest daughter, River Styx, even though I didn't approve of her being in the haunted school, but since her and the other ghosts are now welcome in Monster High, she has been honored in the school. I'm very proud of my little girl. I'm just really proud. Excuse me.
He always get emotional about his daughter being a Monster High. Well, at least I'm proud of my daughter being on Monster High. Then all of a sudden, they decided to do a revamp. Believe it or not. After they were done making 12 of these movies, they decided to revamp Monster High and made a brand new movie called Welcome to Monster High in 2016. And then they made another one in 2017 called Electrified. There's new characters. Oh, one more thing I do have a problem. On Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love, there was a vampire who keeps hitting on my daughter, Dracula. He goes by the name of Valentine. Valentine! I hate that vampire. One of these days, I'm gonna do to him like I did with Tommy Wiseau. And if you don't know what happened to Tommy Wiseau, you should see my review. You should see Multi-Voice Reviewers, The Room. I need to calm down. That's better. Sadly, they didn't catch on to, on Freaky Fashion. Frankie Stein's relationship with Jacqueline Jekyll and Holt Hyde didn't go well. She met a new guy in her life. While at the same time, Freaky Fashion, they meet these newer monsters who are hybrids, all mix. And she meets one who is part unicorn, part zombie, and he goes by the name of Nathan Rott. And of course, throughout the entire movie, they also met another robot, who's a DJ, who goes by the name of Ellie Edie. She's a robot. And then they meet an alien who goes by the name of Astronova. She's an alien. But of course, Astronova, they made her to be a bridge character for another franchise that Mattel made. Ever After High, where all the characters who are offspring of fairy tales are now going to this high school. And it only lasted for 4 seasons from 2013 to 2016. But it's being so much like that Disney series, well, movie and then series, called Descendants, which I never watched Disney. But they made Astronova as a bridge for Ever After High, which Monster High is a lot more popular than they are. And of course, one thing I do know, that Monster High was made, they only made 2 comic books, but it didn't last long. But one thing they did made, series of dolls of Monster High. Now, some of you are wondering, do I collect the dolls of Monster High? No! I'm a guy! And neither does Multi-Voice Reviewer. He collects action figures, not dolls. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, the revamp. When they made Welcome to Monster High and Electrified, they put me on the show. But of course, I don't care much about his look. This is what I look like. I don't know. I mean, do I wear glasses? I mean, do you ever see a vampire who wears glasses? I mean, seriously? I mean, do we look alike? Didn't think so. We're vampires. We don't wear glasses. our bifocals gets better after we become vampires. But they changed the story a lot, like they forgot about Claude, and Dracula is my daughter, and therefore Claudine and Dracula are now becoming sisters-in-law since, well, I started falling for the werewolf girl, Claudine's mom. I don't know. Maybe I'd like to be in a relationship with somebody who's a little bit more wild than I am. And of course they made a new enemy. A zombie who goes by the name Monisa Decay. She is a zombie, and she runs an army of zombie boys. And she's not more open and friendly like the rest of the girls. All she wants to do is control her zomboy's army and bring fear to the human race. But to Frankenstein and Dracula and Claudine and all the other monsters, they want to be friends with the human race. Make them feel welcome. And show them that monsters are not evil as they thought. That kind of stuff makes me pretty proud of my dear Dracula. Oh, sorry. Anyway, after making those two movies, that's when they decided to make a brand new series from 2017, and it's still going on today, called Monster High, The Adventure of the Ghoul Squad. In this episode, in this new series, these girls, what they do is they find monsters from all around the world, and they travel all around the world to welcome each and every monster girl to be the new member of Monster High. Which I have to say, it's pretty good, and it's 3D, and I appear in the show more. You know, even though I do not collect Monster High dolls, I was checking to see if there is a Monster High doll of me. But much to my surprise, there is one, but it comes with a Dracula and a kitchen set. I'm not a shelf. I'm a teacher. It should come with a school set, not a kitchen set. But I don't mind having a Monster High doll of me. If some of you don't mind, buy it online and send it to me, I will be very appreciated. Now, even though Monster High got really popular, even though their comic books didn't last long, but they made a lot of video games. Now, some of them are based from their movie, and some of them aren't. Like, there's one from Nintendo DS called Monster High Ghoul Spirit, made in 2011. And then they made a deal with Wii, Nintendo Wii, and they made Skilly Mate's Roller Maze. That must be the roller derby movie, based from that roller derby movie. In 2012, and then Nintendo DS made another one, 3 Wishes. Made in 2013. But the most popular one of all, made in 2015, and it's from all the game systems, called Monster High New Ghoul in School. Now this one's a very interesting, and it makes me want to buy the game and check it out. In the game, you make your own monster character, and you go through the entire adventure as a new student and a new monster in Monster High, and you make friends with all the characters that you know and love. Very interesting. Well, that's Monster High for you. And for those of you who like my Monster High review, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And I will be back. Except this time, I'm going to review something that all of you want me to review it, but I never come around to it, but now is the time for me to review it. I'm going to review Hotel Transylvania.
And I don't go blah blah blah.
So, this is Dracula, signing off.